What's going on, my friends? Mike here, and today I've got a different one for you. A few weeks ago I got a call from a gentleman that was inquiring about getting his sailboat cleaned before he headed to the Bahamas. Evidently he bought this thing as a hurricane salvage. It hasn't had the bottom scraped in almost 2 years. This thing was a floating ecosystem for sea life. What struck me about this guy the most was he's wanting to take this hurricane salvage boat with his family to the Bahamas, and there's a lot of issues with this boat that I'm seeing on the hull, as far as no gel coat anywhere, exposed fiberglass. If the bottom hasn't been scraped in a year and a half, is the motor mechanically sound? Very interesting. I think he had called other bigger companies and they were giving him a price that he wasn't comfortable with. I don't know what he expects, but it's an hourly rate whenever it's a neglected boat. So he didn't want to spend a lot of money. He was a flat rate at $400. He said, give me $400 worth of scraping. I didn't really know what I was getting into, but I was game. 4 hours is all he wanted. 4 hours is all he got. All right, let's go see what kind of mess we got. So my first thoughts when seeing this thing in person for the first time is what an impressive floating ecosystem this is. I mean, there's all kinds of different species of fish benefiting from this reef structure. Tons of life. Inside all these barnacles, oysters, krill, crabs, everything's alive on this hull. Definitely been every bit of a year and a half to 2 years, or whatever he said that it was. A little bit overwhelming, and I kind of had an idea that it was going to be like this. By far one of the worst neglected boats, if not the worst boat I've ever done in my life. I quite literally had to take the shovel to this thing just to get enough ass behind it, because the normal hand scrapers just, you needed more power. I decided to switch back over to the 5-way, do a little detail work around these curves. Just a little bit too tight for the big shovel. being that the bottom paint is completely gone, the boat literally needs to be hauled out, sanded, and re-bottom paint. He wants to take this thing to the Bahamas, and if the motor's good, then whatever. But this boat will literally be covered in barnacles in a week or so again, because there's nothing under it, and to let it go that long is crazy. So I switched back over to the 5-way, knocked some barnacles off, and actually found the engine intakes. Got to be a little bit careful with those. Got to make sure those things are open, because that's what cools the motor off. Another reason why boats shouldn't be let get out of hand like this. So many things can go wrong. Water line was just as bad as the bottom, like concrete, rock solid, oysters and barnacles piled up on top of each other. The shovel definitely came in handy on this. At this point, I pretty much got everything wrapped up as much as it's gonna be. Wanted to go back around the prop and kind of just scope everything out. As you can see, it looks bad, but all of the big barnacles are scraped off. You can see that Zeke anode right there in pretty bad shape. He didn't really care. He just wanted the barnacles scraped as much as possible. And we are at our 4-hour mark. The other fun thing about boat bottom cleaning is all the micro varmints that get all over you. This is why we call it dirty jobs, as you get these little crabs all over you. Actually, that's a little tiny stone crab right there. Look at that. A little bitty tiny stone crab. He wanted to give me just a flat rate and basically said clean it within this rate, because he didn't want, and just knock the big stuff off. He didn't want it perfect, because if he were to get it perfect, I mean, who knows how long it was going to take. But I felt like I got the majority of all the big stuff off. Got it to where he shouldn't have nearly, if any, drag like he would have if he would have tried to take off like it was. It definitely shouldn't be like that. So if you have a sailboat, or if you have a boat that stays in salt water year-round, you have to take care of the bottom. It's a monthly maintenance. It's like mowing the lawn. If you don't, then it's going to cause problems. Drag, it's going to cause engine problems. Most guys won't touch anything that's this bad, but I thought for video purposes, for content purposes, it might be an interesting watch, maybe satisfying for some people. It's part of the game. You know, just because you're working in water doesn't mean it's a clean job. And with all these little plankton and little tiny shrimp and crabs that get all over, it's definitely not for someone who gets the heebie-jeebies easily.